So now I'm going to show you the menus in the C100. But first, on the external, I want to show you how you navigate through the menus. First of all, the menu button is on the back of the camera here next to the viewfinder. Push the menu button to get it up. Now, how you're going to navigate through the menus is with this joystick control on the grip. As you can go down and you can go to the side and back up with the joystick. And in some cases you will use the scroll control or the control on the top of the grip to change some settings. But that's basically how you navigate through. Now the first menu we're going to look at is the camera menu. That's in the top menu here. And you push the joystick control in order to enter into that menu. And the first one we come to is light metering, and you can see that there is backlight, standard, and spotlight. And each one of these, backlight is if you have a really bright background, like in this case we have the lens is black and the background is white, and if I were to set that to backlight, then our light meter would make adjustments accordingly. Okay, but for most shoots you're going to want to be in standard. And then the next menu item down is AE shift, which stands for auto exposure. Now your camera in auto exposure is going to give you what Canon thinks is the best exposure. It's going to be a general flat type of exposure, and it's based on taste. You may or may not agree with what they say, but you can adjust the auto exposure up or down. Down is underexposed and up is overexposed a little bit. So if you find your camera is shooting most things overexposed, you can go down below zero, quarter stop, half stop, 3/4, 1 stop, on down to -2 stops. You can really underexpose if you want to. That's where you would change that setting in there. Okay, ISO gain, you're able to change the increments. We're set to, the default is 1/3 stop. You can extend the range if you want to. I don't recommend extending the range. This camera will go up to, at this point with this firmware on it, up to 8000 ISO, which is basically noise with a little bit of detail in it. So you don't want to go up too high. I think at this point we're set to 2000 is about as high as it goes. You can change the terminology from ISO to gain if you'd like, and that would, it's whatever you prefer. Iris, you can change the increments for the iris on this, and zoom iris correct, that would, I'd leave that on because you have a zoom lens in the kit. Okay. Now, on down to in the camera menu, we have CP Cinema. That locks the color of the sensor to the Canon Pro Cinema Gamma, which is how we recommend you shoot on this camera. It's basically flat color, which means everything you shoot on this camera probably needs to be color corrected in post. And the CP lock, when that is on, that is going to give you a flat color palette that you can then adjust in post. If you are just going out and you're shooting something that is quick and dirty, something that you want to post up quickly and you don't want to do any color correction, you're going to want to turn that off. But for most of your shoots, I would recommend you leave that on. Another feature of this camera, which is a cool feature to have, it's a very professional feature, is auto black balance as opposed to auto white balance. When you go to auto black balance, you can put the lens cap on or the body cap if you don't have a lens on, and then you just select OK. It takes about a minute. I'm not going to do it now, and that will set your blackest blacks to the best level possible. This is something that you don't want to do a lot, but it's good to do the first time you use the camera, or if you're checking out a camera that you haven't had before, you might want to do that. Just remember, it takes a little bit of time. It's not something you want to do right before a critical shoot. Color bar is kind of self-explanatory. If you throw that up, then you can calibrate a monitor that you're outputting to, and that will give you standard color bars. And that's it for the camera menu.